Fee here, and we are on another episode of the Vegan Survival Kit, and we're up to episode 4. It is a good one, this one, little different, not food, and it's just going to be, you're going to think it's quite silly, but it's actually really important. And the item we're putting in today are answers. That's right, answers. Because once you go into a plant-based diet, whether it be for your health, whether you go fully vegan, whatever the reason, you start sort of like incorporating way more plants into your diet, and you will get asked questions. And it's from meat eaters who, they genuinely want to know. And so I don't mind questions. There's some bizarre statements they come out with, which I'll take you through a bit further down the track. But the main ones sort of like are centered around food and their genuine curiosity as to how you are going to supply the nutrients in your diet. So first and foremost, they're going to ask you, what do you do for protein? Now, this is a classic, and a lot of vegans will kind of go, oh gosh, here we go again with it. But it is genuinely, they think that you have to eat meat in order to get protein. So it's really quite nice that you can sort of say, well, we actually have some really good quality proteins. We have beans, peas, and lentils. But whereas meat eaters, you think you only have red meat, white meat, fish, white meat being poultry and pork, and fish as your protein, so forth. We actually have quite a range. We have a much bigger range. So we have your standards, beans, peas, and lentils, but we also have things like quinoa, hemp, nuts, tofu, tempeh, even oatmeal. So just all you've got to do is make your answer quite short and say, don't worry, I'm getting a lot of protein. And it's really good protein as well. So yeah, that's all you need to say, unless they come back and ask more questions. Just don't go there with them. So the second question you will ask is, oh, and by the way, protein we had in episode 1. So the next question you're going to be asked is, what do you do for calcium? And that's another one. They think that you must have dairy for calcium. So again, I covered this in episode 3, in the last episode. But you can just say, we have a really fabulous range of calcium, kale, tempeh, tofu, sesame seeds, and I've got my notes here too, don't panic. Greens, leafy green vegetables, quinoa, beans, all those sorts of things have a lot of protein, have a lot of calcium in them. And, some of them luckily have protein as well. So, we don't have to kind of have two ingredients in order to get maximum nutrition. And that's all you have to say, that because they're genuinely curious. You may get things like, and this is kind of the area that then becomes the statement. And this is the area that is not quite as kind of nice. And that is when they say, oh, you need to have meat to have protein. And so, it makes you, it actually does make you stand, get back. It depends on how violent they are with it. Sometimes I'll say, well, no, and I go back to the answers for protein, beans, peas, lentils. Or if they're really kind of like in my face saying it, I'll just say, and you've got your nutrition, degree from which university? So yeah, it's like suddenly they think that they know that this is what you have to do. So so that's another one. So then we get on to, they will ask you all sorts of different things about where you do get. And it's good to learn and it's good to find out about these things. But then you will get some quite bizarre ones. They will say animals are meant to be eaten. That the animals are meat and they're meant to be eaten. We eat meat. It's like, well, humans are meat and, we don't eat humans. But when they come out with animals are meant to be eaten, you can also say things like, so you will eat your dog or your cat. And of course, in this culture, we don't eat our pets. We have two lots of animals. We have some for pets and we have some for food, and that's how they think of this meat as being food. When in actual fact, we know that the animals they're all the same like us. They have feelings and all that sort of thing. So that is sort of something that a lot of them will say, is that animals are meant to be eaten. And of course, in other cultures, they do eat dogs. So it's and they think it's quite bizarre that we eat a cow. So all that sort of thing. You've got other ones, things like if everyone went plant-based or if everyone went vegan, what would we do with all the animals? Well, it's like, oh, truly, you really think that everyone's going to go vegan overnight? I don't think so. What it is that as the demand comes down for meat, then then obviously the production will diminish. At the moment, we are inseminating animals just, so much, huge amounts to get billions of animals to feed us, or to feed the meat eaters. I shouldn't put me in that category. Once the demand starts coming down, well, then obviously the production is going to come down. And so, there is going to be a gentle decline of meat production. Farmers love their animals. That's another classic I hear quite a lot, actually. And it's like, well, yes, they're animals. And especially in this day and age when we have got animals, especially the dairy industry here in New Zealand, where instead of when I was a kiddie, it was, if you had 80 cows, you were a big-time farmer. Now you have a minimum of 600 and right up into the, over 1,000 cows. So, you can't tell me that that the farmer goes out every day and pats their cows and goes, oh, you're so sweet, you're so cool. No, they don't. Yes, they love their animals. Yes, they will look after them, most of them, most farmers, I'm talking genuinely here, because the animal is money to them. Just like, hey, look, just like the slave owners looked after their slaves because it was money for them and they were doing the work. So same principle. And at the end of the day, the farmer can't look after their animals, until once they stop production. And this happens in the free range industry as well. Once they stop production, they can't continue to look after them. They can't afford to, and they've got too many, and so they send them to slaughter. So it's just sort of seems such an odd thing. We've always eaten meat. That's just another one, cavemen and the hunters and all that sort of stuff. Well, actually, we were gatherers first, and hence the reason we evolved and we got these little fingers so that we could actually, get in there and pick the berries out and pick things. Yes, they did eat a little bit of meat, but it wasn't very much at all. It wasn't their main diet by any stretch of the imagination. They were nomads. They went where the food was, and so far as they weren't so much chasing the animals were going where the food was, so that the cavemen would go with the food as well. And so, but they were mainly herbivores. That is something that paleontologists have discovered. And I'll tell you what, they were a lot stronger than what we are now too. So yes, but we have fingers in order to, select, to peel, to do all of those things with our food. So what else is there? Meat helps us to get strong. That's a good one. Yeah, tell that to a gorilla. Gorillas are completely herbivores. They don't eat any meat at all. So yeah, and I'd say that they're probably one of the strongest in the animal kingdom. The US there is a weightlifter, Kendrick Farris. He's from US and USA. He's a vegan. He has set the American record lift for his weight, and he competed in the Olympics at Rio. Strong, I think so. So yeah. And the last one that I do hear a lot too is that, oh gosh, I know vegans and they just get so sick. They really do. They get sick. Like, do they truly? Whoa. Know a lot of meat eaters that get sick, like really sick. There's healthy and there's healthy. And it's one of the reasons I'm the vegan health coach, is to help people get if you're wanting to go onto plants and you're wanting to eat plants, do it the healthy way. If you're going to start, you might as well start properly at the beginning. And because vegans, there are unhealthy vegans, yes, and there are unhealthy meat eaters, yes. So it's taking the healthy way. And if you're a healthy vegan, you absolutely will rock your healthy meat eater by streets. That's it. There is the fourth item that we've put into the Vegan Survival Kit. It is answers. And if you don't know the answer to a question you're asked, then just simply say so and just say, good point. Don't know the answer to that. I'm going to have to look at that. Get your phone out, Google it, and you'll probably find the answer quite quickly because all the questions have all been asked. So, yeah. Anyway, we will see you again next time. And in the meantime, have great food, obviously healthy food, plant-based, of course, and be compassionate to all animals, including humans. I will see you again soon. Bye for now.